Okay, here we are, another Bobby Fischer chess video with the Backyard Professor, your host. He's playing Arpad ELO, ELO. Yes, that one. The guy who invented the chess rating system. This is quite a game. He plays the Sicilian Defense. Now, Fischer is going to play the black, and ELO is going to play the white. So let's see how they do this. They do this Sicilian style. Didn't I mention it was the Sicilian Defense? Indeed I did, and indeed they are, and indeed they will. And here we go. Sicilian Defense coming our way, absolutely fundamentally, and it's coming along very wonderful. And Fischer's going to bring out the knight to the f6, of course. The other knight is going to come forward, of course. Fischer is going to take precautions, yes, and he's going to gain more space, central space, pushing the f. Fischer is going to immediately strike the center, which is his characteristic, as every good chess player's characteristic is. Rather than exchange the pawns, ELO moves the knight. Kind of interesting. Fischer's not going to worry about that at this point. He wants his queen in this game. ELO brings the bishop out. Fischer proceeds to bring his other knight out. Now, of course, the castling, yes, tuck the king away, fundamentally so. And now here comes Fischer, going to expand his queen side, take more squares away from pieces of his opponent. ELO's going to bring his queen in, fianchetto that bishop, zipping across that central diagonal. ELO is also going to make sure he keeps up mildly on the queen side at this point. Fischer is going to, it looks like he's going to try to fianchetto his other bishop, and now bringing the queen, getting a good diagonal from the h4 to the d8. This will be interesting to see this. And of course, Fischer fianchettos. Here comes ELO. Now, this pawn thrust, it's interesting that he's doing it in front of his castle king, isn't it? Yeah, but he is. Technically, nothing's attacking. However, in an endgame, that could create some weaknesses. Our suspicion is ELO is going to be moving his king quite a bit because he's taken away the pawn cover. And yet in the process, there's always a downside as well as an upside. In the process, he is gaining more space so that he can maneuver his pieces. So we'll see how this works. For ELO, Fischer takes the pawn. Look at this development here. That's interesting. He does create an isolated pawn, right? But ELO is able to develop his bishop in a good way. Let's see what happens. Queen is going to come back down here, and now the knight is going to come up into the center. They will exchange knights. The knight will take the knight. D will take the knight. So they are clearing things out. The bishop comes forward. Now see, he's got the isolated E pawn. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens. Queen c5 check. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What a fork. Now, of course, the bishop is protected. But keep your eye open for tactics such as forks. He's at least keeping his eye on that bishop, as well as making sure he's contacting the king. So this is all good. The rook is going to block the check. And now here comes a very interesting exchange of pieces. My very good chess friend, username probably already sees what exchanges are going to happen. I love your comments, Chooser. I really do. You're a very valuable person of interest in my chess comments, sharing when I make mistakes and showing us all insights that I miss and sometimes even Bobby Fischer missed. My suspicion is username is rated at 9,500 and he won't tell anyone. So I believe he's that good. So there's your shout out for you, my friend. So knight to h5. Now, what is Fischer trying to do here? This is so interesting, isn't it? What is going on? Let's find out. Bishop goes to d6. Terrific fork. Very interesting fork with the bishop. Queen is going to take c3, which is an incredible move. You didn't see that one coming, did you? What a way to get out of the fork. So the queen is taken, and the knight is going to take the queen, right? So the queens are off the board, and now the bishop does get the rook, and he's down a rook, and the rook will take the bishop. You see how this is working? It's gonna be very interesting how this leaves them with pieces. Which pieces are they left with, as opposed to the opponent? He will take the c3, and now the rook, of course, is going to go to b1 because he does not want to lose the rook. And now the bishop comes to d4 and puts a wonderful pin on that rook. And that's an absolute pin. With any other piece, it wouldn't be an absolute pin. Usually you want to pin a weaker piece to a stronger piece. With the king, that's an absolute pin. You can't get out of that unless you move your king first, or block the pin in another way, or somehow take the piece that's doing the pinning. But that pin is absolute. So this is going to be interesting to see how he plays it. He goes ahead and pushes it. He can't do anything with it. So at this point, he's going to build his position a little bit better. Here comes the remaneuvering of the bishops by Fischer, which is very instructional. And of course, the A will take the B, and the A will take the B. We can see that one coming. That's not a worry. And now the rook, of course, will take the b5. So the queen side has been more or less cleared completely out. Now the bishop is going to take the front of the doubled pawn. Remember, doubled pawns aren't a weakness unless they're blockaded or they're not moving. And the target is always that front pawn in the doubled pawns, more or less, usually. So now watch. The king is a fighting piece, so get him up there in the game. Make sure you keep the contact with the king. You also want to avoid any back rank mates. Not that that's going to happen in this game, not by a long shot. That's not even the threat. Notice the differences here now. He has 1, 2, 3 pawn islands. That's not good for an endgame. Fischer has all of his tightly compact pawns. That is exquisite for an endgame. So ELO's not doing so hot right now. However, he does have both the rooks and the bishop. Fischer has the single rook, but the 2 bishops. And the king is slightly better placed than Fischer's king. So overall, Fischer is winning this war. Definitely winning the war. But keep your king in contact for the moment. Bishop is going to now take f2 because he broke the trade or the pin, sorry. And the king, of course, will take f2. So now that evens out the score, except for the one major negative is the pawn structures. And that makes all the difference. So again, through the course of your games, and this is one of my huge weaknesses in this game, you really need to pay attention to your pawn structures because the island of Fischer is so vastly superior to what his opponent has. And they're even with pieces. So we'll see how this works. There's always room to make mistakes, which is unfortunate. And it does happen, but let's see if it will. Rook to c5. Here comes Fischer's king. Yep, bring the king up into it. King is going to continue coming forward, and the king is going to continue coming forward. See, in the first part of the game, of course, with all the pieces and pawns out there, you want to tuck your king away. Toward the end of the middle game to the beginning of the end game, the king is an important piece, and you must use him. And we see this very beautifully now. Of course, he's taking the opposition. They want the kings to square off in a certain particular manner called the opposition. And now rook to a8. Here comes Bobby Fischer. He's going to try to swing it around. He's going to keep the pawns in even keel with his king. Notice how the islands are already straining the king. If he gets called one side or the other pawn will fall. I mean, if it's set up correctly, right? So he is really in a stressful position. This poor guy has to be protected by a piece. The only technical free piece here that's not on defense is the rook. You notice that difference? This guy, he's on the hunt. That's offense. This guy, he's on the hunt. That's offense. These guys are the solid fortress, and this man is going to escort him in. That's the ideology. But that's the position breakdown, and Fischer is really doing quite well right now. So g4, and he's going to bring the pawn up, keep it all nice, tight, together. You're going to march everything in this particular setup. So g5 check. See, that's all you can do at this point because it is one of the separate islands. You can't defend both islands. You have to decide which one you're going to try to stick with. So run the guy up and at least cause some damage, hopefully, is the theme. So check, H will take, and turn around and say check back at you. And the rook will take the g5. So he has eliminated one of his island pawns, ELO has, and he's shrunk the entire side of pawns to just 2. So that was effective. That's an effective way to get rid of your own weaknesses while lowering the strength of your opponent. So ELO is playing great chess here, even though he is on the downside. And now rook comes over to h8. What is Fischer doing? Rook is going to come back down here to g2, and he's going to push the pawn. Check. King will come straight back to f3. Rook will now come to, see, like I say, the difference in the rooks really shows here. The white rook is defensive. The black rook is on the attack. Yes? Rook G3, what do you do in this case? What do you do? Now, you got to pass pawn, but he's literally useless. There's no danger in that guy ever getting in this game. You can see that, right? Tell me you can see that, because that pawn ain't going to make it. There's no way. This one's much closer, but unlikely. There's nothing except another piece. So do you exchange or do you not? And Fischer jumps at the opportunity and says, oh, yes, and oh, heavens, yes, I will exchange that rook. No doubt. Because now the king is stuck watching that pawn. So, king now centralize and Look what he's attacking. The other pawn, right? With 2 pawns helping. This is really good endgame. Okay, well, here comes c3. For the win, right? No, not quite. Now, the bishop does not have to be super close in order to be effective. It is a long-range piece. Notice the effect of that, okay? There's no reason to put yourself in potential danger for some kind of a stupid missed fork because you're trying to keep your bishop close. Your bishop is just as strong 6 squares away as he is right next to that king. So keep him safe, yet still very effective. Yeah, that's what we're seeing here. Bishop comes to c4. Same thing. Target. He's got a target. You got to aim at the target. Now, they're both the same color bishop, so this is a powerful endgame. This won't be a draw. This will not be. If this is a draw, Fischer's going to lament that for decades. He's going to be very angry at himself if he draws this one. On bishops of opposite colors, it's almost inevitably a draw. With the bishops on the same colors, and his opponent's weakness is that he's got 2 islands and he's only got 1. And believe me, that's a weakness. That's the difference in the game. Fischer should win this. Let's see how he handles this. This is so fun to see this. Yes. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. That is correct. Don't try to be running just one all by himself. No, no. You're going to go in as a group. You're going to give mutual support to each other. Bishop d5. Mutual support to each other. Now, that's a great way to strengthen that particular little guy right there. And that's a good island in and of itself right there. That's not bad. It's about the best you can do in that position. Now, Fischer is going to rearrange again. He's going to get somewhere else. And now he's trying like crazy to creep things up. Notice both players are doing the same thing. Even though it is a weakness, that's true. Agreed. Understood. He's keeping it together. That's great chess. It really is good chess. Watch what Fischer does. King for the breakthrough. He's going to attack from behind. He's going to put himself in a position to where he can eliminate one of those pawns. Very interesting king play here. Let's keep watching because White's not going to just sit back and do nothing. So here we go. Now watch. Because he's repositioning, notice how well the bishop is protecting those pawns, and it's not even on the same color. Is that amazing? You gotta see this. And yet the king now becomes an attacker because White's going to have to eventually move something that's connecting those 2 pawns and the bishop. And that's when he'll lose part of it. This is so interesting how this works. That's a fantastic pawn defense of a bishop move of Fischer, and he's not even on the same color. I just want to point that out. Fischer, just incredible. So, yeah, you can see the king now has to go to the defense also. This is really important to see this. And of course, there it is. Check. King comes to f2. Bishop to d1. Notice the maneuverability of Fischer's bishop compared to the defensive bishop of the white, and how he can get into various different angles and ways of attacking, as well as guarding his own pawns, because now the king is nowhere near the black pawns, so they can start going forward. Is that not incredible? I really want to, if you're not seeing all that, play through this video a few times. This is amazing how Fischer does this with a bishop. I love how he does this. So he's going to immediately try to get up there. Now, you don't need to be rushing your pawns. Go easy. Hold on. Bishop to e2. Keep in touch. Keep in touch. Right? c5, he's trying to make a break for it. And of course, that's when you take it. Something had to move, right? Notice how Fischer is this. This is exquisite. It is really something else. So bishop to e6, and now king d4. Again, hit the pawn. Bishop f5. So now you notice how ELO has been able to maneuver his bishop such that he can now blockade, so that perhaps Fischer's going to have to split up those pawns and lose one of those pawns. So ELO is playing superb chess here. This is really interesting to see how he did this. Bishop f5. However, king e3. And this is where ELO, I'm not, I should have looked up how to pronounce it. This is where he resigned. You can't win. So now he's got to move his king back and away, and Fischer's going to win it. So what a fun game. What a masterful. We begin to see Bobby's power with his bishops. This game is a precursor to many, many more games we are going to enjoy going through. So thanks for watching the Backyard Professor Chess videos. I appreciate all your support and your love. And I enjoy the camaraderie, and I really enjoy making these videos for you. So appreciate everything you guys do for me, and be good, do well, have fun. Don't stay up late at night, but if you do, have fun anyway, and be good citizens in your country. And I will catch you in the next Backyard Professor Chess video, where I sincerely do have a lot more fabulous Bobby Fischer games coming up.